Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Hi YouTube, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody watching from wherever in the world you hear my voice or are watching this video today. Thank you so much for all the love you guys have shown every video that I've ever uploaded here on this YouTube channel. For every fan of Descendants and Zombies, because there is something special here on this YouTube channel, in the YouTube channel archives, for everybody. If you have not subscribed, you're probably going to want to go ahead and get that out of the way right now, because we have so much to discuss when it comes to Zombies 5 predictions, because that's what everybody's YouTubing. I know this because I'm a fan just like each and every one of you, and I always speak from the perspective of a fan, because I love hearing what your predictions are, what your theories are, but the direction of Zombies 5, what kind of love story we're going to see between Victor and Nova, which is something I'm really excited about. One thing we know for sure is this movie has something to do with water. So we don't know what the creature is coming out of the water or what's going to emerge from out of this vortex. It's kind of really spooky, to be honest with each and every one of you, but because I'm freaked out about it, that makes me even more excited about Zombies 5. I think Zombies 5 is a beautiful love story, regardless of how people are going to feel about this one, because for sure it's going to receive its fair share of criticism, but you guys got me. You guys have forever and always had me. I've been on YouTube for a very long time, reviewing TV shows and movies for what feels like forever, and I reviewed everything from Batman to SpongeBob SquarePants to Goosebumps. I've reviewed it all. So you guys got me, and I know what I'm talking about. So if you guys want to hear predictions about Zombies 5, you have clicked on the right thumbnail. Thank goodness for that. And you have found a great YouTube channel that has dedicated itself and prided itself on uploading the best Descendants and Zombies videos ever possible and ever created for fans of a franchise that has millions of people who have dearly fallen in love with this love story. You know, one thing I will give Zombies a tremendous amount of credit for, and so much respect because of, is this beautiful love story that we've seen between Zed and Addison, how much they meant to our hearts for over 7 years. I will never ever forget their contributions when it comes to Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim. And the interesting thing is, I saw this interesting graphic that a Descendants fan page on social media had thrown up the other day, where they were predicting that Freya Skye and Milo Manheim, I do believe, were going to play Rapunzel and Eugene in Disney's upcoming live-action Tangled. This is a live-action that I'm really excited about, and if there were two people going to play a prince and a princess for the lead members of the cast, it would have to be Freya Skye and Milo Manheim, because the chemistry these two have exemplified are off the charts, how much respect they have for each other. I think they could really get it done and really come through for every fan of Tangled, because this is a live action that Disney really can't afford to make any mistakes with. I'll have more to say on that when more information becomes available and more information drops. But the thing is, people are making way too many early predictions when it comes to Zombies 5, because we really don't know when the release window is going to be for Zombies 5. Some people are saying 2027, some people are saying 2028, some people are even looking as early as 2026 for filming to commence. They're going to be filming this one in New Zealand. I can confirm that for you guys. We just don't know when filming is going to commence. So because we don't know when filming is going to commence, there are a couple of things that have to drop, including a budget, including new cast members. There is so much that has to happen before Zombies 5 becomes a reality. But that does not mean that this is not going to happen, because it is. You don't think they introduced Victor and Nova into this franchise not to continue on the franchise, continue a story, to present a beautiful story, a beautiful love story in its own right. Because you think about the chemistry and how appreciative they are of each other, you had better believe that Zombies 5 is coming. We just don't know when Zombies 5 is coming. If I knew when Zombies 5 was going to happen, I would tell you. I'd be the first to tell you. Because on February 16th, 2018, where were you guys at? I was sitting at home. It was a couple of days removed from Valentine's Day. I was feeling really brokenhearted. I was devastated because I had no Valentine. Woe is me. And then I watched Zombies from out of nowhere. And to be honest with you guys, in the words of Milo Manheim, Zombies blew my freaking mind. It was a beautiful movie. The story was amazing. The script was amazing. The songs were fantastic. I fell in love with every song on the score. And I think that this is where you really realize that you're so appreciative of every moment that Disney has ever brought you to, and every moment that you've been a part of past, or present. I think this was the perfect musical to introduce us as part of a new generation of Disney fans into really what became a sci-fi kind of era. I think that the love story between a girl and a zombie and how they fell in love, how they instantly knew they were going to be an instant classic and have the chance of spending the rest of their lives together made us think of our own lives and perhaps somebody that's kind of appeared in our life magically that we wish we had the chance, even the slightest chance, to spend the rest of our lives with. Because I think there are more people out there in this world who are zombieing out than ever given credit for. I see this all the time. When I was in high school, I used to go to school with a bunch of really weird people. And they used to be zombieing out all the time. I got to be honest with each and every one of them. They never really used to pay attention to what I was talking about or what I may have been texting them on the phone. There were more people zombieing out when I was in high school than ever given credit for. And I think the same thing is happening now. So I think that more people, as a result of this, have been able to relate to the Zombies movie and the franchise, the entire franchise as a whole, more than ever before. Because more than ever, people are falling in love with zombies. And if you've never seen the Zombies franchise, then perhaps you should take a chance on it. I think it's a beautiful story from beginning to end. Everything makes perfect sense about it. And the cast members really fit perfectly together. They're just like glue. And when it comes to people like Victor and Nova, they have really become inseparable. Ever since that duet Dream Come True in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, which was one of my favorite songs from the entire score, because it really allowed me to have a greater appreciation for this movie, because I know it saw its fair share of criticism. It was something I necessarily didn't agree with from the very beginning, because I thought this movie deserved more of a chance than ever before. And I love having the chance to talk about it and discuss my predictions with this one. I love the thought of mermaids seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise, and I'm going to tell you why. I've lived on this island for a very long time. I've lived here for all of my life. I've been here ever since I was probably a child. So there have been so many stories associated with this island having something to do with mermaids and pirates. And I've heard hundreds, if not thousands, of stories about mermaids. So as a result of this, being told stories about mermaids by my grandmother and my mother, I gained a greater appreciation for the essence of mermaids and the unpredictable feel that they bring to whatever atmosphere that they're ever a part of. And just knowing they have a chance of being a part of the Zombies franchise makes me really excited for an unforeseeable future, because we don't know what to expect. We saw mermaids see their introduction eventually into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and we know how much they meant to that franchise. We've seen The Little Mermaid have such a significant impact on so many hearts for so many different generations ever since 1989. I will never forget Jodie Benson's portrayal of the voice of Ariel and how beautifully done that was and how collaborated that was. So having said that, and after having read so many legendary stories about mermaids, I read a book about a mermaid years ago. Her name was Amanda Greenleaf, and I met the author of the book. And I think ever since then, I've had a greater appreciation for all the stories, the legendary stories that have been associated with mermaids. So to say I'm excited about mermaids and possibly sirens fitting somewhere into this equation would be an understatement, because I think this is fantastic. And I think that it's something to be really excited about. And if there's one guy who is going to say something nice about the Zombies franchise from here on through, it is going to be me, because I'm going to see it through with each and every one of you, because I'm looking forward to 2026. When we talk about the release window of Descendants 5 with Wonderland, there is something to be really excited about. And I have to be honest with you, with all these new characters coming into the Descendants franchise, including Liamani Segura and Keanu Romero as Hazel Hook, I think there is a beautiful chance for a beautiful story more than ever before to be presented for Descendants, and I think it's something we should really take a chance on. Because every day more and more people are falling in love with this franchise. Perhaps you attended the Worlds Collide Tour and you had a dream of being on stage with your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars and sharing the stage with them. You've been passionate about collecting Descendants of Zombies merch. For whatever reasons that made you a fan of Descendants of Zombies and brought you to this moment, I want you guys to know that this YouTube channel will forever and always be here in love and support of each and every one of you. I say this because there have been far too many franchises that Disney has put in front of us that have never been really taken seriously. I mean, who really took Hannah Montana seriously years ago when you really think about it? There were probably, I don't know, a few thousand people who loved Hannah Montana, a few thousand here or there that liked High School Musical. But it had everything to do with how Hannah Montana and High School Musical just couldn't create a story and couldn't tell a story. Because how you make people fall in love with a franchise is how you tell the story. You guys remember the cartoony openings in the Zombies franchise, don't you? About how they told how everybody lived together in Seabrook. Not necessarily everybody saw eye to eye because they were struggling to find acceptance, But everybody lived together in Seabrook, and then eventually came werewolves, and then eventually came aliens by Zombies 3. A lot of people thought that vampires should have been introduced in this franchise long before aliens ever did, and they should have left aliens for Zombies 4, because it would have made more sense. I don't really know how I feel about that, but I think that having both vampires and aliens in this franchise is really, really cool. And now what they're suggesting is going to happen in Zombies 5 is that all the supernatural characters that have previously debuted in this franchise from generations past are going to have to align to take on the greatest threat ever posed to Seabrook, which will come in the form of either mermaids or sirens, and probably confliction between the two groups, mermaids and sirens. I love how confliction always seems to arise from out of nowhere. It's like, ah, kind of thing for the Zombies franchise. And shooting it on location in New Zealand, heading back to New Zealand. New Zealand is a beautiful place. One thing I get from New Zealand all the time is everybody who's ever a part of whatever project is going down to New Zealand, they are very appreciative of it. The cast is appreciative of it. The writers and producers, the directors, everybody's appreciative of it. And it's just such a lovely atmosphere to be a part of. So having said that, we have a lot to look forward to for the foreseeable future for the Zombies franchise. You know, I know that a lot of people are looking up predictions about Zombies 5, and a lot of videos that are being uploaded really aren't making a whole lot of sense. There are even people that are saying they don't think this franchise is going to see past Zombies 6. I certainly hope we see past Zombie 6, because you can't think that there's going to be a story told in just 2 movies, under 2 movies for Victor and Nova, and the story is going to reach a climax. I think what's going to happen here is we're setting up for a new trilogy, which means we'll get Zombies 5, Zombies 6, and possibly Zombies 7. I really do see this going past Zombie 6, because when you think about franchises of the past, I think where all these predictions are coming from and stemming off of is how Hannah Montana could never get past 4 seasons. Wizards of Waverly Place, I believe, could never get past 4 seasons. Phineas and Ferb might have got 5 seasons, and then came Milo Murphy's Law on Disney XD. So I think that Disney's always had way too many projects going on the one time, and that's why they can never seem to get past 4 seasons or a trilogy. But I think this is really a series of a franchise that we have a chance of really lasting for forever. And anyone who's ever wanted to believe in forever should continue on believing in forever when it comes to all these predictions that could be made or could be dropped between now and 2027, which seems like forever away. I get it. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, what that means is you got to upload videos about Zombies for the rest of your life for each and every one of us who are crazy about zombies, because we can't wait 3 years for Zombies 5 to come. Unfortunately, that's what we're looking at, and I don't want to have to say that, but apparently there's also a rumor that filming is going to commence as early as 2026. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I'd like to see it happen sooner than what we're predicting, because, of course, we have to wait for the budget to drop, we have to wait for a script to be developed, possibly new characters to make it into the cast. There's even a rumor going around that the girl that played Charlie on Good Luck Charlie, Leah Rico, is going to be a part of this cast. That has yet to be confirmed. I don't know if I buy into what people are saying. I think they're pretty much just speaking from their heart and doing everything with an open heart and open mind, and nobody really knows what to expect in the Zombies franchise. But let me tell you guys something. For anyone who has ever believed that this story is far from over, perhaps you should continue on believing that, because when it comes to supernatural creatures and characters, there is so much of a lore and so much of a history that if you go through the history for vampires, say, there is so much of an opportunity to create new storylines. There's a cure eventually that's developed for vampirism. There's so much of an emotional experience that vampires go through that can create so many wonderful storylines. So when you talk about a character like Victor, have we really seen his emotions come to the forefront? Not quite. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to get the opportunity to see him go through this emotional experience with Nova. And that's what's going to be so beautiful about this story, is the chance to create kind of an Edward Cullen, Bella Swan kind of story deal from Twilight. I know how crazy everybody was about that starting in 2008. From 2008 to 2013, everybody loved the love saga between Edward Cullen, Bella Swan, and eventually Taylor Lautner's character Jacob was thrown in there too, and everybody just went psychotic over it. I remember trying to get a ticket for Twilight Breaking Dawn, I do believe, a couple of years ago, back in 2013, the summer of that year. It was crazy. The theater lineup was a blockbuster, which was basically a term that was used years ago to describe when everybody would go out and get a ticket for the one movie, and there would be like 1,000 people. That was crazy. It was like Jaws from 1975. Kind of thing. So I know how crazy everybody's been about the vampire werewolf kind of thing, and I really appreciate, this is why I appreciate Zombies and all your guys' early on predictions, because you're so excited about Zombies 5. And you guys want to know when Zombies 5 is coming out. Unfortunately, Disney is covering us up and keeping us in the dark for just a little while longer. But that doesn't mean that we won't see it through and we won't eventually find our light. And these characters will eventually find their light too. Because I think everybody has a place in this conversation. Everybody deserves to be a part of something special. And if you've ever believed in something special happening for your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, then perhaps you should continue on believing that, because we still have a long way to go, simply because this story is far from over. And to be honest with each and every one of you, I'm really excited to, see how Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim are going to offer mentorial advice to people like Freya Sky and Malachi Burton, because I think that they still have a long way to go. And they're really learning their craft, and they're kind of coming into it. I know that they were really excited to get on the wire shooting the green screen scenes for Dream Come True. They were really excited to shoot that music video and that scene together because they felt so passionate about it. One thing I've noticed about Freya Sky and Malachi Burton from the very beginning was how appreciative they were of every moment that Zombies as a franchise as a whole had presented them with, and they really ran away with it. I think they were really realizing their dream, and I think that at 15 years old, which Freya Sky was when she was shooting Zombies, I don't even think she could believe that she was a part of such a miraculous production, because there was so much heart and so much dedication seen from everybody who was ever a part of it, and that's what made this so special. That's what made it so enjoyable for me watching it as a fan at home, was that I knew this was going to be something special in the hearts of everybody. It was forever and always going to remain something special. People were forever going to present the argument about how, criticism always had a place and conversation for Descendants and Zombies, but that's why you guys are so dedicated to this franchise, because you know who and what you love. So because you've always taken something special away from Descendants and Zombies, you have never had any place for any conversation having anything to do with criticism for a very long time. And I have loved every single moment that I've ever had the honor to sit in front of this microphone every day and record with and share my thoughts with you about Descendants and Zombies. This is an amazing experience, and I think it's something more people should take a chance on as families, as the best of friends, even if you watch the Zombies chapters together by yourself. I think that this is something special that we should all remember, and memories that we have created together that should never ever be forgotten. I would like to believe that 15 years from now, people like Clarke and Trell and Freya Sky will be standing on the D23 Expo stage accepting their stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Because if you can bring back the Muppet Show, as crazy as it sounds, for the first time in 45 years, you can bring back things like Descendants of Zombies to reboot time and time again for whatever generation you want to reintroduce it to, because no matter what the generation, I think everybody presents a case as to why they love Descendants of Zombies. Everybody has a reason why they're a fan of this. And I think that these memories will forever and always be cherished, no matter what the age demographic is you're talking about. No matter how many hearts you touch, there's always going to be another heart out there to touch who wants to take a chance on Descendants of Zombies. So the best thing we can do as YouTube creators is upload videos with our thoughts and our predictions in them for people to watch, about our predictions about Zombies 5, what we think is going to happen. As crazy as some of our predictions may seem to be for either Descendants or Zombies, the reality that we're faced with is we still have a long way to go, and I am really excited about the foreseeable future for the Zombies franchise and to talk about it with each and every one of you. One of the things I was most excited about for the forthcoming holiday season was having the chance to come home and sit in front of this microphone and record my thoughts and share them with you on Zombies. I didn't know that everybody was YouTubing Zombies 5 predictions in particular, but since you guys are YouTubing Zombies 5 predictions in particular, I think the best way to do it is to create a bunch of videos with my predictions on Zombies 5 in them for you, because I'm really excited about the story between a daywalker and a vampire and to see where we go from here. Probably it has something to do with how I was a huge fan of Vampire Diaries years ago, and I watched virtually every single episode from over 7 seasons. And through the course of 7 seasons, I believe it was actually 8 seasons, we saw so many beautiful storylines created between Stefan and Elena, of course Damon and Elena, and of course Stefan and Caroline fall in love and they have this big wedding. I mean, everybody remembers how passionate everybody felt about the Vampire Diaries and Twilight, and even Buffy the Vampire Slayer years ago. I was crazy about that one. I will never forget watching the pilot episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so that same appreciation I always have and always bring forth to every conversation when it comes to having a conversation with Descendants and Zombies fans, because you guys have hope for the foreseeable future and you deserve to be encouraged that a future is forthcoming. We just don't know what that future is going to entail, and it's probably a good thing that we don't know what the future has forthcoming, because that gives us more reason to be more excited than ever before. And I'm just excited to be a part of that future with each and every one of you. So what we're suggesting for Zombies 5 currently right now sits at mermaids and sirens. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but you can let me know in the comments. You can also hit my like button and subscribe and ring my bell for every video that I ever upload here on this YouTube channel, as you have joined me on this incredible journey over this past year, giving me the chance to not only sit in front of this microphone and talk about Descendants and Zombies, but also meet incredible Descendants and Zombies fans who have forever remained supportive of this franchise. And this story, you had best believe, is far from over, and that we still have a long way to go. And it's one story that I'm excited to be a part of for that foreseeable future and to share my predictions with each and every one of you, because this really is just an incredible feeling that Zombies presents us with. We have fallen in love with Victor and Nova's characters just as much as we did Zed and Addison over the last 7 years, because they forever and always held a very special place in each and every one of our hearts. I will never forget that final kiss between Zed and Addison that they share at the conclusion of Zombies 4 Down in the Vampires, because that kiss went further than a lot of people ever meant, and I think that because it went further, it gives us more of a reason to be excited and quite intrigued about the future that has everything to do right now with Victor and Nova. And I'm really excited about 2027-2028's rumored release date for Zombies 5. I will have more on this in upcoming videos that I will have for you guys in this YouTube channel archives. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, which we created together for every fan of Descendants and Zombies, you're probably going to want to go ahead right now and get that out of the way, because we have so much to get into and discuss about Descendants and Zombies, franchises that have forever and always held a special place in my heart and in yours. And together we have experienced this together, which there is no better way to do, because it's Descendants and Zombies or die. It's a way of life now, and the love and support that we've had for Descendants and Zombies will forever and always remain. Thank you guys so much for having watched this video. If you're excited about Zombies 5, I am too, and the exciting thing about this is that this story is far from over, and we still have a long way to go. Thank you so much for having watched this video.